Welcome everybody to NerdFellas. My name is Mike Wante.
Keith Hernandez.
Today we're going to bring you our top 10 films for Halloween.
So everyone knows the Wes Cravens, John Carpenter's, the classics. Everyone knows The Shining and Scream and all those movies.
Halloween,
yeah.
Classic.
So we wanted to kind of shed a little bit more light on movies from the past decade. The new standalones, the new franchises that people are going to be talking about for a while. And only criteria is these are movies that both of us have seen. So there's probably going to be some things that you think got snubbed, some stuff out of order. I want to hear what you guys have to think. Leave it down in the comments below after you hear what we have to say. Alright, so number 10, Paranormal Activity. This is probably the most polarizing on our list. You either love it or hate it. In a nutshell, I guess it's security footage, not necessarily found footage.
Correct.
Of hauntings found in a specific house from a family. I appreciate it. I appreciate that it's the start of a new franchise that you can debate whether or not it's worth going at this point.
It was good for maybe the first two films, I want to
say. At the time it was good. Imagine that's at the start of like the internet and things going viral and stories like that. So at the time, you can picture people not knowing what's going on and kind of being engulfed in.
Number 9, The Fourth Kind. This follows a story of kind of mockumentary proportions.
Yeah.
It follows a mother as she searches for her child who was abducted by aliens. It incorporates fake interviews with fake footage. And what the combination brings is very, very creepy.
I think the thing that's creepy about this is like the unknown, that it's a fake story based off of real occurrences.
Exactly.
And the fact that no one knows what's going on in that town in Alaska.
And it does kind of bring you this feeling of, oh man, is this a real found footage film? Because there are instances where it gets so intense and so creepy and disturbing that
violent too at a certain point.
And violent, yeah. So you just kind of want to walk out and have a nice coffee to keep you awake so you don't fall asleep and have nightmares.
Yeah. Fun fact: on my way home from watching this movie at a friend's house, I saw a shooting star.
That's kind of creepy.
It was the worst.
UFOs.
The worst time ever.
Especially if you're a fan of the unknown, that's a movie for you to watch.
Number 8, The Ocho, The Purge. Now, this one's about the whole franchise of it, not necessarily any specific movie. Basically, The Purge it's in a world, or in a country, where anything and everything is illegal for, is it 12 hours? 12 hours, right? For 12 hours. Whether it be murder, looting, rape, anything at all. Anything to get a cleansing, a purge out of your system, which leads to a perfect society for every other day out of the year.
And the 3 films that have so far come out are actually all pretty solid and have pretty awesome actors. I mean, even just starting off with Ethan Hawke. It was
Frank Grillo,
now becoming a big star. So very scary in the sense that it calls to the animal inside all of us. There's always someone that we don't like, and that we want to kill. But
we can't.
Can't, because
Probably
we have to stick to our moral compass and just make sure we don't vote for Trump so this day doesn't actually happen. Number 7, Evil Dead, the remake. Now, this film followed a group of friends that went ahead into a cabin and discover an evil book that summons evil spirits to come upon them and basically cleanse and kill them all.
Essentially.
I
appreciate that. Sam Raimi's original film is one of the classics, and this improved that sometimes you can go back to those classics and bring a little bit more out of it. The practical effects in this are top notch.
The practical effects is definitely the key factor in making this film very scary.
The gore in this movie is off the charts.
Yeah. Made me nauseous.
Yeah.
I was nauseous.
Definitely. It has a lot of callbacks to the original.
Especially the little girl in the basement.
Pushing up on the basement. And the fact that it made more sense storyline-wise, it kind of went back and filled in the little gaps that the original one kind of got criticized for a little bit. I loved it. Number 6, to kind of piggyback off of Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods.
Ooh.
This one is heavily inspired by Evil Dead.
Yes, it is.
Now, I think what we appreciated more, it's a little bit over the top like a lot of other movies, but nobody saw the sci-fi kind of twist coming on at the end that it's a worldwide phenomenon, I guess you could say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The element of surprise is what makes this film a great horror film. It follows friends going into a cabin, just like in Evil Dead, except you discover that they are part of a reality show, and also part of the summoning of gods, or a sacrifice to gods.
Prevent the end of the world.
To prevent the end of the world. And it sounds kind of crazy when we talk about it out loud.
Because it is.
It is, but it's definitely one of the most fun films in the horror genre that you will see. Number 5, Hush. Hush is a film you can catch on Netflix. It follows a deaf and mute woman who lives in her own secluded home in the woods, and she is soon terrorized at night by a serial killer stalking her and her neighbors. Definitely heavy creep factor on this one.
I think this is probably one of the most messed up home invasion movies I've ever seen. Because just imagine not being able to call for help, and even if you could, you can't talk, you can't hear where he's at, so it's all visual. And she's really smart about it, but so is he. So they're trying to one-up each other the whole time, and it takes you along for the ride, getting her lack of sensories.
Yeah.
And pretty much how almost hopeless the situation seems.
Yeah, it seems very hopeless, and you're rooting for her the whole time, and just the scenes that they incorporate in this film, you are on the edge of your seat because you know all the facts the characters in the film don't. And it is very scary.
It takes you along for the ride. And if you care about reviews, this is one of the only movies I've seen in recent years that's at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Check it out.
Number 4, Insidious. Insidious is basically a story about a young boy who gets, I guess, pulled into another realm, I guess you could say, called The Further. That, to me, was what sold this movie.
Yes.
The Further. Just the concept of almost like a purgatory-like, without actually dying. And
it's a place where your spirit can travel into like a netherworld, and the father has to go ahead and rescue his son from this demon who wants to take him away from him. And the demon itself is creepy as hell. I mean, I was scared, and at the same time I thought of Darth Maul, and even Darth Maul's kind of creepy. So
yeah, just it had like the same makeup, same effect as Darth Maul's image. But what really took this movie to the next level was its soundtrack. It's had one of the most like ear-piercing and like chill-binding soundtracks.
Oh yeah, just the screeching of like the violin, just the it freaked me out. And I used to work at the movie theater, and when I was cleaning and I was letting the credits roll, and I was in that theater by myself, and that music just pops out of nowhere, you wanted to run the hell out.
Yeah.
So the music was definitely the key factor in making this whole film.
And I think one of the coolest things is that the way the sequel ties everything together, the first one, it's so smart. It explains a lot of the gaps that the first one had that you didn't realize you needed answers to.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things this franchise is kind of loosely known for, it's single shot hallway scenes.
Oh man.
You really pay attention to the surroundings, and you're like, wait, what? So we're watching at home, you go rewind, and it's even more creepy than the first time around.
Definitely don't watch this alone. Number 3, The Conjuring. Now everyone has seen The Conjuring. Conjuring 2 has recently come out.
Big box office hits.
Also had a spin-off, Annabelle. It follows the couple known as the Warrens, who went and investigated paranormal activity in several homes, including the infamous Amityville Horror. In this one, they went ahead and discovered that there was a demon stalking a family, and they went in to try and get rid of it. That is what makes this film creepy, the fact that this is based on actual evidence, written books and accounts of these kind of hauntings that happen in America and abroad. And I think that's what really brought the creep factor for me, because you're touching more on the, I guess you could say, realistic spiritual activity that happens here. But that's what creeped me out.
Number 2, we're getting near the end here. This is a movie I have on a really high pedestal, The Babadook.
Babadook actually took me by surprise when I first saw the film. What is it about?
So it's Jennifer Kent's directorial debut. Babadook is an anagram for a bad book.
A bad book.
And in a nutshell, it's about a widowed mom whose husband passed away on the way to give birth to her firstborn child. And he's kind of he's a troubled kid. Not really a problem kid, but a troubled kid. Doesn't get along with much, has an attitude. It's just a hard time being a single parent. And one day, while reading a book that she didn't know existed in the house, it kind of popped up out of nowhere. She reads a story about the Babadook, and she's really turned off by it, doesn't like it, so she gets rid of it, and the book keeps coming back. And what happens is that the entity in the book ends up coming to follow her and her son and really kind of just gives them all kinds of problems in their life after that.
Yeah, and this is definitely a metaphor for the kind of hardship that comes with parenting, especially being a single parent and working full-time and just trying to do things on your own, and holding all that kind of anger and suppressing it and seeing it take over you over time.
Without giving away too much, the ending might take you off guard if you don't catch on to where it's going. But if you kind of realize where the significance is of the ending, it takes the movie to a whole other level.
Oh yeah.
And watching it the second time around, you see it in a whole new light. You know?
Oh yeah.
I'd say the only thing to take away from this without spoiling it is everyone has some kind of Babadook in their own way.
Yes. What makes this very creepy is that you have a Babadook in you. The fact that this is something that if you hold on to it for too long, it can definitely haunt you and take you to a dark place that you never thought you could go, which we definitely see in the world a lot every day. So that's what makes it very creepy. It's on a more personal level.
So that was number 2, the Babadook.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, number 1. It is...
It Follows.
Yes. It Follows is a film, kind of a metaphor for an STD, but It follows a girl who has gone on her first date, ends up being drugged and not raped, but told that after she has sex with somebody, she can pass on this demon that will follow her. Every time someone has sex with someone, the demon passes on to the next sexual encounter, and it keeps moving forward.
It just kind of goes down in the line. Now here's the catch, is that if it catches up to you, it kills you.
Exactly.
And then it goes back down the line to the previous person before. So it's never really gone.
It's definitely an interesting story, and one of the very few movies that kind of gave me nightmares.
It's kind of a play off like hack and slash.
Yes, definitely. And I don't know why, but it also kind of gives you that impending doom of death.
Yeah.
It's always going to be following you. It's something that none of us can escape, and that's what It Follows kind of touches on. Just the fact that we're never going to escape our ultimate fates. But
just imagine being in that scenario and not knowing where it is, because it changes its form. It could be someone you know, someone you've never seen, and it just walks in a straight line. So if you're Walmart, there's people everywhere. You don't know which one it is, so you're kind of always peeking over your shoulder, and that's not a good feeling.
Exactly, and especially having the weight of the fact that you have to pass it on in order to save yourself. That's kind of a scary thing. It plays on so many different levels, and it can freak you out in so many different ways. But definitely a film I recommend, and I definitely don't recommend watching it alone.
Or with a significant other. There you had it. Our NerdFellas top 10 horror movies of the past decade. Let us know what you think. If you have a different order, let us know. If there's something we think we left out, let us know. We definitely have open suggestions to watch new movies.
Yes, and then please recommend movies. I want to see more horror films. I'm looking forward to a great Halloween. We hope you have an awesome Halloween. Make sure you guys stay safe. Don't do anything too crazy. Anything we wouldn't do.
I do a lot of things.
Yeah, we do a lot of crazy things. But
don't do that. But for more things on NerdFellas, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on all the usual suspects: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yes.
And stay tuned. Nerd out.
Nerd out.